The Trump war on the media and a free press continues, and the theme is this phrase, the enemy of the people. The enemy of the people is the phrase that keeps coming up about the press by Donald Trump and by his cronies. And Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the White House press secretary, was asked directly a number of times during a press briefing late last week, as the weekend was kicking off, is the press the enemy of the people as far as she is concerned and or as far as the Trump administration is concerned? She was asked this by the press at a press briefing. And one of the ways this is being written up is Sarah Huckabee Sanders refuses to deny that the press is the enemy of the American people. What you have to understand, and I'm going to play a clip for you here, is that when she said time and again, I'm here to represent the president's views, and the president has made his views clear, it's more than a non-denial that they see the press as the enemy of the American people. It is the acknowledgement that they see the press as the enemy of the American people. She refused to say no multiple times and said that Trump has already spoken about this. It's a slightly longer clip I'm going to play for you because I want you to pay attention to the dynamics of how there are multiple opportunities for her to just say, no, big picture, I or the Trump administration, whoever she's speaking for at the time, don't see the press as the enemy of the American people. She doesn't do that. She does believe, and she is restating that the Trump administration does believe that the press is the enemy of the American people. Let's take a look.
Jim?
I just wanted to follow up on Sarah's question from NPR. She asked you about Ivanka Trump's statement that the press is not the enemy of the people. And she asked you whether or not the press is the enemy of the people. You read off a laundry list of your concerns about the press and things that you feel like are misreported, but you did not say that the press is not the enemy of the people. And I think it would be a good thing if you were to say right here at this briefing that the press, the people who are gathered in this room right now, doing their jobs every day, asking questions of officials like the ones you brought forward earlier, are not the enemy of the people. I think we deserve that.
I think the president has made his position known. I also think it's ironic.
Would you mind telling us,
I'm
Sarah,
trying to answer your question.
Okay, well,
I politely waited, and I even called on you despite the fact that you interrupted me while calling on your colleague.
Well,
I said it's ironic.
Which is why I interrupted.
I'm trying.
But if you finish, if you would not mind letting me have a follow-up, that would be fine. But
It's ironic, Jim, that not only you and the media attack the president for his rhetoric when they frequently lower the level of conversation in this country. Repeatedly, the media resorts to personal attacks without any content other than to incite anger. The media has attacked me personally on a number of occasions, including your own network, said I should be harassed as a life sentence, that I should be choked. ICE officials are not welcomed in their place of worship, and personal information is shared on the internet. When I was hosted by the Correspondents Association, of which almost all of you are members of, you brought a comedian up to attack my appearance and call me a traitor to my own gender. In fact, as I know, as far as I know, I'm the first press secretary in the history of the United States that's required Secret Service protection. The media continues to ratchet up the verbal assault against the president and everyone in this administration, and certainly we have a role to play, but the media has a role to play for the discourse in this country as well.
And Sarah, if you don't mind, if I may follow up, excuse me, you did not say in the course of those remarks that you just made that the press is not the enemy of the people. Are we to take it from what you just said? We all get put through the ringer. We all get put in the meat grinder in this town, and you're no exception. And I'm sorry that that happened to you. I wish that had not happened. But for the sake of this room, the people who are in this room, this democracy, this country, all the people around the world are watching what you're saying, Sarah, and the White House for the United States of America, the President of the United States should not refer to us as the enemy of the people. His own daughter acknowledges that, and all I'm asking you to do, Sarah, is to acknowledge that right now and right here.
I appreciate your passion. I share it. I've addressed this question. I've addressed my personal feelings. I'm here to speak on behalf of the president. He's made his comments clear.
So, Sarah, was that a yes or a no on press is the enemy of the American people? She talks about how she hasn't liked reports about her and satires of her, but that's not the question. The question is about the role and the perception of the media by this administration. And if you're a defender of the Constitution, if you believe in checks and balances, the answer to this question should be, and it really has to be, a completely unequivocal and definitive, No, of course the press is not the enemy of the American people. This wasn't a vague question open to interpretation. It's Jim Acosta from CNN who asked the question here. He was specific. She still filibustered, didn't answer. And in fact, she's saying, yes, the press is the enemy. I speak for the president, she said. That's what Trump has said, and that's what the position of the administration appears to be. And bringing up satirical pieces done about her, I guess it's either to distract or to try to get some sympathy. She might be a more sympathetic character if she stopped telling depraved and horrific lies to the American people day in and day out. But it continues to amaze me how the party that claims to be against the safe spaces and the trigger warnings is regularly and so easily triggered. And what's dangerous and vile about this position is that it is even worse than what we've seen from some of the worst Republicans. I don't romanticize Bush. You know that,
right.
Pat. But even Bush would say directly, when he had big conflicts with individual media outlets, a free press is necessary and healthy to democracy. It's such a simple thing to say if you believe in it, and they're just not saying it because they don't believe in it.
And we also know that Sarah Huckabee Sanders' calling card is obfuscation, too.
Yeah.
So she could have walked that tightrope and done it a little bit better, right, between appeasing President Trump and also reassuring the importance of a free press. Like, she could have said that most outlets are totally fine, but there are some liberal reporters out there doing a horrible job and named them, for example. Like, she could have done both things. She could have played both sides there like she normally does. She decided not to go with it.
I don't know if calling out specific reporters would be walking the tightrope necessarily, but the big picture is creeping authoritarianism. And when it's all said and done, either in 2020 or in 2024, I hope that Sarah Huckabee Sanders is remembered for what she's become, which is one of the most disgusting participants in this aberrant administration, and aberrant not on policy, but in terms of its just fundamental and basic disrespect for the base tenets of the foundation of the United States of America. Send me your thoughts if you're as concerned as I am about the battle against the press. I'm on Twitter at @dpakman, and the show is on Twitter at David Pakman Show. Today's program is made possible in part by Indochino, which makes custom suits and shirts. The reality is I see a lot of really bad suits, and I was just at a wedding actually, and most of the suits looked horrible. And the truth is that generic off-the-rack suits just aren't going to look as good as a personalized suit, especially one made at Indochino. You can order online or go into one of their showrooms. Here in Boston, they have a showroom. I went in, I worked with Chris. We took all sorts of measurements I didn't even know you could take on a human body. But what it led to was a custom, really great fitting suit. You can choose your fabric. You can personalize the lapel, the jacket lining, the monogram, whatever you want, really, even the buttons. You place your order, wait for it to arrive in 3 weeks or less, and you're going to have a great looking suit. You can shop online at Indochino.com. As I mentioned, showrooms all over North America. And this week, my listeners and viewers can get any premium Indochino suit for just $379 at Indochino.com when you enter the code Pakman at checkout. That is over 50% off the regular price for a premium made-to-measure suit. Stop looking like a goof at weddings and funerals. I mean, that's the sad reality as well. You got to have a good suit or two for important life events. Shipping is free. Again, that's Indochino.com, promo code PAKMAN to get any premium suit for $379 plus free shipping. Great deal for a perfectly tailored suit.